Shooters are a dime a dozen in the gaming landscape, and the formula for them may have gradually changed over the years, but few stand out as unique experiences that aren't replicated for years or even at all. I mean, you have PUBG and the mods of old from the Battle Royale genre, you had Tarkov pioneer the extraction shooter, you had Counter-Strike setting the standard for the competitive shooter, arguably leading the charge for the modern economy shooter. All great in their own rights, but key pillars of their subgenres, no doubt. But here's one that if you know, you know. The dynamism shooter, derived from the game's ever-present ability to adapt to whatever the world's greatest game show throws at it. Each season is different in theme, gameplay mannerisms, and more, and well, as usual on the seasonal cycle, I'm sucked back in and addicted once again. The finals. I'm back, addicted again. I always come back to this game. It's a unique take on the standard FPS formula. Like, while it has things like Team Deathmatch as an easy entry mode, that wasn't a key pillar for the game until a few seasons in. Built around the economy shooter, if you want to call it that, but where cash is earned and solely as your placement rankings with the core mode of cash out, down to modes added after the fact, like Power Shift, Quick Cash, and others. It's a dynamic game where no two matches could be the same, featuring weather cycles, destruction tech galore from the original Battlefield and Levolution teams, an arcade vibe that I don't think I've ever seen matched, mixed with a class-based power trip, a bunch of different abilities to change how you interact with the world around you, not to mention some of the best music around. Like, come on now. It's both so many elements of modern games and a host of unique ideas all mashed into one, and it's all free to play. It entered Season 11 this last week and brought with it a handful of new bells and whistles, the most prominent of that being the new map of Galaxy Estates. This map, Embark said they wanted to explore a vision for the future with retro aesthetics in the 60s and the 70s. It's set in a space habitat ring at the edge of Saturn, and the skybox is honestly pretty brilliant. Like, I love that. It's a really cool, unique art direction here with this. It's got a variety of different landmarks here with it. It's got the suburban neighborhoods, luxurious mansions, sports complexes, and of course, that central terminal that's the hub for the entire map. Built by Cometa, a Season 11 sponsor, it specializes in luxury orbital residences. So this being their bread and butter here, the map has a few unique features to it that offer various traversal and interaction methods with that environment. The most notable probably is that of the sort of central towers that you'll see around the map, these being dubbed anti-gravity volumes, this allowing vertical combat and changes of the pace and play, getting you from one level to another, or in some cases taking you all the way up to the highest that you can go. Now early on I learned the hard way that you can still shoot through these and everything, so just be careful that you're not completely alone if you try to use some of this as cover, but either way, pretty cool traversal mechanic. Another traversal mechanic is that of the interior ring. The upper floors have a sort of fast track to them where it feels like you're doubling your speed. I don't know if that's quite exact, that's just going off of my feels, but that whole upper level of the entire central terminal offers this. There's different arms and wings extending off of this central terminal, so you can end up going to two various different locations around the map from this main central portion, but beyond that, they're each segmented into slivers, so you're going to have doors on one side or the other that will conceal you a bit, so you won't be seen for a whole turn, but it also can set up an additional way to ambush players, so just bear that in mind. Overall, loved the aesthetic of this map. I thought that there was a lot of cool, unique features and elements to it that made it its sort of own and memorable in its own right. As the time of this video being published, I'm not entirely sure if they were to change any of the playlists or anything with it. It was the dedicated map for the cash out tournament as the season launching, but also in some of the subsidiary modes as well. Like, I played it in TDM a little bit, but a real fun addition in my opinion. Additionally, one of the other big things changed with this season is melee reworks. Melee was something that in the past had been problematic for those people going up against the melee, but for melee mains, you probably didn't have an issue with this at all. But Embark detailed that they wanted to make it more viable as a style of play, but also not as frustrating for those who die to it, which I feel like is a very hard balance to try and find there, right? Well, for this, they made a few changes. Firstly, they made a full balance pass on all of the melees. They increased the damage, they modified swing speed, and adjusted ranges while increasing that potential power. So okay, there's a buff there. Surely that means that the people that are already using melee love this, and the people going up against it are just kind of like, oh, why would you do that? Not to mention, you can now lunge towards an enemy making any attack, with the size of the lunges being extended, but the ranges will differ from weapon to weapon. On top of that, they've reworked attack sequences as primary weapons for melees, where it's now more responsive, it has more reliable secondary effects, and the Riot Shield gets a bash attack, plus better mitigation for incoming fire. But the balancing aspect of this is that they basically reworked the entire system and now ends up putting it in an umbrella of stamina and precision. Embark said this makes melee more skill-driven. Stamina is consumed by lunging. When a player is out of stamina, they won't have lunges to use at their disposal, but they can still swing their melees, but you won't be able to lunge, that sort of like lock-on feel that you have. This will regenerate over time, but if you hit, you'll regenerate that instantly. Chaining things together, essentially, is what they're trying to aim for here at this, and making it a bit more skillful with the precision element here of it. Previously, any connection dealt would deal the same amount of damage with a melee. Now you may notice there's a new aim indicator when meleeing, and that's your sweet spot. This does the maximum amount of damage. If you land a shot in this precision window, that does the maximum amount of damage. Any hits made outside of that precision zone is considered a glancing blow and deals less damage. So you'll still do damage, just not as much as in the precision zone. So again, aiming at increasing the skill of play and rewarding that for those that are more accurate. So it's kind of a balancing act how they've taken this with the new melee system. Buffs, but fundamental shifts in place that require a bit more skill in how you both aim and methodically place your attacks on target to utilize those buffs to the fullest degree. So that was their changes here in that gameplay element. Beyond that, Season 11 introduced players to new ways to get introduced to the finals. Firstly, a lot more lore had been dropped with this one, showcasing a little bit of the actual world behind the game show. For those that are unaware, the finals is a game within a game in its story. The finals is a combat simulation where you can end up gaining fans from around the world as you perform and do better and better. But with the newest lore drop, we see a little bit about the world behind that, which is really cool. Personally, in my headcanon, I'm still tying this together with the world and universe of Arc Raiders. How that connects, again, still to be determined. There's a lot of really good theories. My favorite was that the elites are up in space while those still on the ground are scavenging, dealing with the threats of Arc and everything, but with recent lore drops, that kind of flips it actually on its head, where perhaps the finals is the prequel to what we see with Arc Raiders, if it's even connected at all. But a lot of cool lore potential with both those, but the finals also really cool as well. We also got a new tutorial, which brings easier ways to onboard players to the game, which is just in time for the Season 12 overhaul in, hilariously, the same as Arc Raiders, in October as well. They promise a lot of big changes here for the game, and perhaps what may be the biggest update for the finals yet in October, but they have a new thing called the Early Talent Program, which is a new training school that guides new players through the game's various modes with a series of quests and rewards. This being a new path to onboard players that's meant to make it approachable. The game itself is relatively easy to understand, but there is a lot of depth and a lot of things to learn and master that it could be something that becomes overwhelming for a new player. So this just being a way to try and mitigate that a little further. Bot matches and cash out were also something that is a big standout for this season, and is a way that, again, you can practice a little more, you can play with bots, you can complete challenges against these guys. Like, that's one thing that may be easier for some people to do, like the Arc Raiders challenge, for example. That crossover requires you to end up having 100 eliminations or assists, 15 revives of teammates, and 150 cash earned in any game mode. That this counts towards it. Now, if you play the game and you jump in, you put a little decent time in here, you'll probably get that passively, and it's not something that's too hard. But if you're going consciously for that, you want to try and like efficiently get that skin if you haven't already. That's probably one of your best bets to do that. But that was introduced that you can take part in. Kind of funny that we have PvE in the finals before Arc Raiders, but that's a different story for a different day. Season 11, you have access to all your sponsors. I think it was maybe Season 10, maybe 9 that offered the ability to end up having those retroactive rewards as well. So if you haven't started any of the rewards with signing with the sponsors, you can get all of those. As of a recent season, you're no longer bound for an entire season to one sponsor. You can change as you go. So if you really grind out the game, you can make some headway on a couple of these rewards retroactively if you didn't play in a little while. And finally, beyond that, you of course have your new battle pass. This one offering some really cool skins, the Ultimate Edition really getting some cool versions of stuff here, but for 30 bucks, I mean, that's entirely up to you. I'm not going to say, hey, go get that, because I'm probably not going to get that. Now, I'm sure there's probably some things here I may have missed, but Season 11 of the finals, been having a ton of fun here at this one. Just want to share this with you guys if you haven't checked it out, or maybe you're new to the finals entirely. We've talked about it before, that one of my philosophies in recent years is I've just been wanting to share stuff that I'm having fun with that maybe you guys can have fun with as well. It's been a while since we talked about the finals, and been a while since I got the itch to really grind out this game again, so now that I'm back in that position and having a lot of fun here with this, just want to share that with you guys. So that, I think, is what we're going to call it. Before we do, a quick heads up, we have partnered with my friends over at Advanced GG. Again, as we've mentioned, a bit under the radar the last few months, but now going into the summer, ramping that up more and more. Advanced is the healthier energy supplement option where I use it daily as my comparable cup of coffee. Currently drinking that raspberry lemonade. Magic Rainbow Sherbet's also another one that's one of my favorites, but I'd highly recommend, and we actually co-branded that along with a few other items on their site, like a 26-ounce ice shaker. But love this stuff. If you're looking for a replacement for your own cup of coffee, give it a try. If you decide to give it a go, code espresso and get 10% off your entire order. But no sweat, appreciate you hearing me out on this, and of course, just checking in on the videos here that you made it this far. But that said, that's going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more content on the finals and other FPS content. A lot of stuff upcoming later this fall that I'd love to have in the community, but for now, again, just sharing what we're having fun with. So if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. For now, though, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.